What's going on, YouTube? This is Snyder. Um, Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Modern Warfare 3 Delta spinning coin, whatever. That was my original replication. The original is in here. I recorded it in my PVR for reference. I've done this so many times, I don't need reference. Open up C4D and get so that you can see your front mode. Open up your Delta tip folder, come down and find ref Delta. Drag that into the front. Hop right in there, zoom in, grab a tube, put that tube on positive Z and zero out the inner radius. I have all these measurements written down. So the outer radius will be 70 and rotation segments at 150. Your height is going to be 5.0. And now that you've got that, come up to edit, come down to configure, go to back, and then in your offset you can adjust your reference image to center it up. You don't want to center your object on your reference image. You want to keep your object in the center of the world at all times, best you can. Whoops, what I did. 5.0 for the height, not height segments. Alright, hold control and drag down to duplicate your tube. Your next tube will be at 72 for your inner radius, 96 for your outer radius, and 9.0 for the height. Control drag, 94 for your inner radius, 100 for your outer radius, and 16 for your height. And I did it again. Keep on entering it in height segments on accident there. Alright, control drag, 70 for inner radius, 74 for outer radius, and 11 for your height, not height segments. And you get your coin. We're going to click on these bottom two and click this fillet box and add 0.5 in there. Now come back out here, go to our Delta folder, grab your Delta icon and drag it in. It's going to open up in a new window. Hit OK. Click on it so that it's yellow. Copy. Go up here to Window, and then it'll be untitled if you haven't named it, and paste it in. Go to Coordinates and zero out your icons. Now bring your icons forward, go into your front mode where your reference image is. You can bring these paths, splines right out of here and delete that Delta icon null and resize your icons to fit. And if you guys would like to see how I made these splines in Photoshop, I could do a tutorial on that. Just drop a comment below. I wanted to include it in this, just it would be too long. So that looks pretty good. We're going to grab two extrude nerves and put our paths, splines, in these nerves and let's work on the blade first. We'll hide our logo by clicking that check mark. The spline will still be there, but the extrude nerve will be gone, so we can work on it. Click up here on the knife, go to Object, drop your movement down to 2. That's alright, maybe a little bit thick. How about 1.5? And make that editable. And then right click, select children, right click again, connect and delete. Come over here to your points, click on your arrow, your selection. Make sure only select visible elements unchecked and drop your radius down to, no, you can leave it up to 10. We're not to that point yet. Getting ahead of myself. No. Highlight these points. Come over to the side. Grab your scale tool and flatten it. That'll give you that blade look. Come back out. You can unhide our logo. Make the logo really thin, 0.5. And now make it editable. Again, select children, connect and delete. Make sure you're in your point mode. Select these top points, drag them back. Select these points here in the middle, drag them back. These points, drag them out. See what you're doing. And if you look at the reference video, you can see that it's pretty close to this. This needs to come out more. This needs to come out a little bit more. There we go. And that looks pretty damn good. Alright, let's build ourselves a handle. We'll click on the blade in order to get the cylinder right about where we want it. Hold Alt when we go to pick our object, and it will come in right on the knife's axis. And we'll grab the extrude NURBS, which is actually the knife, drag it out. Now we can work on our cylinder. Size it to the handle. And make it editable. Right click, grab the knife down here and make it loop, and cut here, and then cut out where you want your detail to be. See that line's not in the right spot. I'll show you how to move that in a minute. As far as getting the finger grips, how I did it was I made 2 cuts in the dip of the grip. How about that? And at the peak, I made 2 cuts. And then come up here, and this is when I dropped the radius down to 5 from my selection. Hold Shift, select in, and then drag in. Make sure you don't cross over the other polygon lines or it'll look like crud. Drag in again, drag in again. Do this as many times as you want until you get the detail that you want. You can also add hyper NURBS and make it look better. As far as now, we're going to click back on this, go to point mode, come up here and get the square selection. Only select visible elements box, uncheck that. Highlight all these points, bring it down a bit, and grab your scale tool and scale it right up like that. Now come out here and hide your logo by clicking these little dots here so that you don't see it at all. Grab the cylinder, make sure you're not in point mode anymore. You'll be moving the points everywhere, and bring it out. Grab the scale tool and flatten your handle out because you don't want a round handle. Flatten it to whatever you want. That's good enough for me. Go back to the front and hit, make sure you're on your cylinder and on polygon mode, and hit U and L on your keyboard, which will bring up your loop selection. And we're going to select, actually come down here because I remember I messed up a little bit, show you how to adjust any of these lines. You can come up here to your square selection tool and just highlight all these polygon dots, and now you can move them up and down where you want. But back into UL, our loop selection, make sure you're in polygon, and we're going to select these silver ones, not the white ones. Holding shift to get more than one selection. Right click, hit extrude, and extrude in a bit just for some detail. We're going to go up here selection and hit set selection. Click off the side so that you're unselected. UL again. Highlight these middle ones. And go to selection. Set. Oh, wait. Undo that. Make sure that you don't have your other set selection selected because it'll just override it. So now you can go back to your cylinder and selection. Set selection. You see we've got a new selection up there. Alright, as far as the letters, the font I used was Forgotten Futurist. You can get that on defont.com. Just drop mo text in. I'll make that letter D. And find Forgotten Futurist. And then how I did this, I actually individually aligned all these letters up. I'll also add some fillet to your object. I just added 1 and 1. And then I just individually positioned all of these, but first I got my fillet set up. I positioned it, came out here, drop the depth down to 5. That might even be much. Think of it, and now we can I just went around and individually placed all the letters, and by doing so, when you're done, you could group them into a null, or you could drop them into a fracture object. And once you get them into a fracture object, change this object mode to either one of these and add a Mw3 effect here to make some pretty cool results. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop all these letters on here and then come back and show you how to do stars and finish out the materials. Alright, now that I got all the letters positioned there, we're going to go back to our Delta Tut folder and grab the star. And do the same thing. We're going to copy it and bring it back into our window. And it's going to be way over there. Coordinates zeroed out. Scale it down. And position it over one of the stars. Just need to use one for now. Alright, now we're going to add our star to an extrude NURBS. And when we do, you can see that it's hollow in the middle. Click on the star spline, go to object, close spline. Now it's not hollow. Go back to object and make the depth 5. Push it back into the coin. Now come up here and go symmetry. Drop that extrude NURBS into symmetry and you'll get the star right directly on the other side. Okay. Now we can start dropping some materials on here, and I provided you guys the materials to save time because it would just take way too much time. And you just go, let me do that a little slower so you can see. Go File, Load Materials, and then of course I've got it saved to my desktop, Delta Tut, and then load in Delta Mats and you'll get all this. This Kendo mat's a preset mat, and that's what I use for the text. Drop it on USA and Delta Force. The stars, I don't know, I think they were blue. But the knife blade, I did do a little bit to the texture on that if you guys want to look at that. This inner ring, I didn't do anything but set it to radial. The blue, I did do a lot to that. I changed the reflection color to get it to look the way it's supposed to, with the black on the inside instead of, you know, white reflection. And then the rest of the materials are pretty well basic materials, except for the handle. Of course, I have a texture in here for it, and you'll probably have to load that in when you apply that, which is no big deal. You just go to the folder and click no and load it in on the bump and color channel. and you'll have your handle texture. Now it comes in the set selection tags. You click on one of these selection tags, hit restore selection, and you're going to see that you restored your selection. So these two, we're going to want white. So we'll just drop that white on the cylinder, grab that selection tag, drag it down, and click on this other set selection, restore selections. These two, want those silver, drop that on there, and drag your set selection down into selection. Now you've got your handle broken up into cool colors. As far as the logo, just drop that material, the white material on the logo. Blue, basic blue that I made here on the other two tubes. And there you go, that's it. You're all materialed up. All the stars. I can't remember what color I made this time. Just basic gray. Kendo on the stars too, apparently. Just drop that there, and that's it. Now we're gonna highlight all of the details, group them, which would be the stars, the knife handle, all that. Duplicate it, rotate it 180 degrees. Come through this back side. And oh, there you go. Now it's on both sides. Come up here to render settings, output, make your screen, film video, come down to this preset 720, anti-aliasing, best, animation. Click alpha channel. I do put everything into After Effects. I'm not going to do anything for After Effects. If you guys want to see an After Effects tutorial for what I did for this, let me know. No big deal, I can do that. Now, grab a camera and go to coordinates and zero your camera out. Click on your camera. Pull back to where you want it. That looks about good. Uncheck off your camera so that you can work away from it. Grab a light, drag this light back up a little bit and to the right here, right of the camera a little bit, somewhere like that should be okay. Let's see what it looks like. Not too bad, a little bright, could use a little dimming, but you could adjust the light, add more light, whatever. Okay, as far as animation, grab both of these, or all of this, everything, group it all together, and set it about 250 frames, which I think will leave you around 8 seconds, I think, something like that. We're going to come all the way to the end and click on the Z. Go all the way to the beginning and drag your Z to the negative. Bring the coin directly to you until it's out of your screen, and then control click will keyframe these little eyes here. So now you get your coin coming in, and at, let's say, 240, a little bit earlier, you're going to want your rotation on the H to be 0. And then click this button here to go all the way back to the beginning and make your rotation H negative 720. And control click on the eye, you hit play, and in comes your spinning avatar logo, or Modern Warfare 3 logo avatar. You can make an avatar out of this if you want. But there it goes, spinning in. And adjust your lighting to make it look how you want. This is my first tutorial. I know it was choppy. I know it was longer than I wanted to. You can see some problems right here. It looks like you're going to have to enlarge the ring on the inside a little bit to get rid of those problems. And yeah. Post your video responses with anything that you make. I'd love to see it, and I'll definitely post it up so other people can see it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something. Like, subscribe, fave.